This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with AutoQuote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states and situations. Prices may vary on how you buy.
Hello and welcome back to Tooth and Claw Podcast. We have our bear biologist. He is on the board of bears, Wes Larson. Then I am his
chairman of the board,
younger brother, Jeff Larson. I'm not on any boards for bears, but I am familiar with bears.
You're on floorboards.
And we got Mike.
Hey.
And Mike's just hanging out.
I have built a bear. You guys ever do that?
Did you go on a date to do it?
No. I had to go check it out solo before I took a date there.
I did it one time on a date and was not impressed.
Really?
They didn't even have like a baseline bear that we could use. We had to like do a Harry Potter themed bear.
What? Oh, that's too bad.
I can't think of a more depressing place to go solo
than build
a bear. I like to go to the movies alone a lot, but like that's a step too far. Just
Did you?
Like, I just really like the ambiance when I'm by myself.
Did you do the voice memo to yourself? Like, I love you, but it's like to yourself.
Okay, so if anyone hasn't
squeeze it talks.
If anyone hasn't picked up on the joke, I didn't actually go to Build-A-Bear alone. So
yeah,
just I guess clear my name of that accusation.
Yeah, you got to do that a lot lately, huh?
I was really mean to the person helping me though.
That's what I was going to say. You have been so mean.
It's like, no, I don't want a fucking tie on my bear.
You got kicked out of Build-A-Bear.
Your website shows green shirts.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been there. I don't think I ever will. I can't see Jesse ever wanting to go to Build-A-Bear. So yeah.
Huh. That's a weird one to draw like a hard line in the sand for, but like that's fine.
I don't
skin off
feel like
she just maybe doesn't do stuffed animals.
She doesn't do stuffed animals, and yeah, it just doesn't seem like something she'd want to do.
Okay.
You know, to each their own, Mike.
Yeah. I'd let her speak for herself, but that's just me. You can.
I do. But I mean, I've been with her for 7 years. I know her personality pretty well. If I were to walk in and Jesse were to say, "Hey, I really want to go to Build-A-Bear," I would be like, "Hey, are you okay? Or like, is something wrong with you?" Well, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Jeff already said that, but I'm saying it too. I got a doozy of an episode
when you said it
for us today.
A lot more gravitas.
It seemed more genuine. Mine seemed more like I was just trying to get the ball rolling for the start of the episode.
Going through the motions.
Wes really is like glad to welcome everyone back.
Now we'll get a text from Mom saying, "I think Wes should start introducing the episodes." All right. Anyway, we got a good episode today. It is an animal that I really like talking about, and I'm not going to spoil what it is. We're going to go through some of the story beats. I want people to kind of guess in their own heads what it might be. I think our keener listeners will get it pretty quickly. I think you guys will probably get it pretty quickly. But as I researched this one, it kind of felt like a murder mystery. And so I wanted to kind of treat it that way.
Oh.
So there is a death in this one, just a warning. And it's a great story. So whenever you guys are ready, I'm ready to start.
Murder mystery, huh?
Yeah.
I was born ready.
Okay. All right. Well, Barbara Schoner woke up early on the morning of April 23rd, 1994. This was roughly 10 months after the iconic notes of John Williams' theme for Jurassic Park first played in darkened theaters across the country. She started to get ready to leave her house.
Really puts me in the right time frame there.
You know what we're talking about now. She started to get ready to leave her house in Placerville, California, which is a small mountain town located in between Sacramento, Lake Tahoe. Jeff, we have a close friend from Placerville, Cassie LeConte, lived there. And this is pretty much where Jackie was from, my college girlfriend, too.
Ooh, LeConte?
Right.
That means the Count in French. Might be a Dracula.
Yeah, very well could be a Dracula.
Or what are they called? A vampire.
A vampire. Nosferatu. There's a reason Barbara was waking up so early. This 40-year-old woman was a long-distance runner, and she wanted to get her run in for the day. In fact, she'd actually recently graduated from just long distance running into ultra running, and she was training for her next race. Do either of you guys really know what ultra running is?
I was on
Yeah.
a podcast with some listeners
Yes, I
that
do.
it's called, oh man, I gotta give them the proper shout out here. Distance to...
My brother is super big into it. He does like the Marathon des Sables or whatever.
The podcast was Distance to Empty, and they asked me some hypotheticals about what they should do if they encounter animals on the trails.
Yeah.
And I told them what you would have said, Wes.
Thank you.
You know? Just,
Yeah.
if it's a bear,
Appreciate that.
don't turn around until you see what color it is.
It's definitely not what I would say. Yeah, we've talked about this a lot, but runners are often at slightly higher risk when you're talking about certain animals because
Especially
they're moving fast.
Ultra
They don't-
ones, because they're like in the wilderness running.
Right.
Too.
They're spending a
Yeah.
lot of time moving through mountainous country, places that have more animals. They're moving fast. They can trigger that prey drive in animals. But Barbara was getting into ultra running, and ultra running is usually like 50K or more. So 50 kilometers or more are considered ultra runs. You're going very long distances, and she's really excited about it. She's training for her next race. So as she's moving through her family house early in the morning of April 23rd, 1994, she's doing her best not to wake up her husband Pete or her two kids who are 5 and 8. She puts on her purple running shorts, a purple sweatshirt, and laces up her white Nikes. And she thought about the night before at her son Andrew's Little League game. She'd been talking to her husband Pete about a morning run to train for this next race. Pete's also an ultra runner, and he suggested they go to one of their favorite spots, which was called the Auburn Lake Trails near the community of Cool, California, which Cool is a neat name for a little community. All right. Pete and Barb had met roughly 10 years previously, and Barb was giggly, vivacious, and she was the perfect yin to Pete's more reserved and quiet yang. They dated for about 5 months before getting married, and after about 10 years, they were just as in love as they had ever been. This is one of those couples that, they just don't get tired of each other. You can just tell they really enjoy each other's companies. They have similar interests. They just really like being around each other. So Pete's not only deeply in love with his wife, Barbara, but he's also a bit protective. He liked the idea of her doing her long run at a place that was thought to be incredibly safe, and Auburn Lake Trails was incredibly safe. You had to pass through a manned gate to get to the trailhead. You needed to have an invitation from one of the local residents to access these trails, which Barbara had. And with that level of security, Pete wasn't worried about her being harassed or assaulted by anyone during her long run. You might wonder why anyone would want to. You have these people out there that just are violent people or are deviants or whatever else. But also Barbara worked for an insurance company, and part of her job was kind of like making people that were collecting unemployment for too long find new work. And often people would get pretty upset about that. So she had people that really didn't like her out there in the world. Yeah.
Oh,
Even though she's a
I
very
mean-
sweet person.
yeah, she's kind of a snitch, though.
And maybe a little bit of a snitch, yeah. And what do snitches get, Jeff?
Stitches.
Yep. Barbara pulled her fleet feet visor down over her short brown hair and got into her Dodge Intrepid. She drove from the quiet town of
The more you
Placerville.
describe her, the more she's starting to sound like Grimace to me.
Yeah.
Wearing all purple,
Dodge
brown hair.
Intrepid. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Grimace drives, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I doubt he drives like a standard vehicle. I
Nah.
think it'd be like a shoe that's made like a car or something.
that's pretty
Oh,
much
you
a
think?
Dodge Intrepid.
Mm.
All right. She drives from the quiet town of Placerville to the even quieter community of Cool and the Auburn Lake Trails. It takes her about 30 minutes to get to the manned gate, where she says the name of her friend. The attendant lets her in. And then she parks at spot number 3 near the trailhead, gets out of her car, slipped on some thin gloves over her hands and her pink fingernails, stretches, and then starts her run at about 8 a.m. Later that day, her husband Pete was starting to get really worried. Barbara left that morning, should have been back hours ago. His worry turned into a deeper anxiety, so he loads his kids into the car and they drive to the Auburn Lake Trails. And there, his anxiety turns into full-blown fear, because her car is still parked at the trailhead, but no one had seen or heard from her for the better part of the day. He immediately starts praying that maybe she had just sprained an ankle or something else had happened that was minor, but his mind is also drifting to the worst case scenario that maybe some random, stalker or terrible person had hurt, abducted, or even killed his wife on this trail.
If I were Pete, I would be praying that she were okay. I wouldn't be like, I hope she has a sprained ankle. I'd just be like, I hope she's all the way safe and healthy is what I would pray.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a demand a lot out of God.
But you need some type of reason that she wasn't back.
She's cheating on me.
That's what I was thinking.
You'd rather her cheat on you
That's
than
what,
have a sprained
then get a
ankle.
sprained ankles
Yeah.
hurt, dude. Are you
They
kidding
do.
me? Ouch.
I mean, that was
That's
a bit of an
thoughtful of
artistic liberty that I said what he was praying about, but I'm
Okay.
glad. Yeah, maybe he was
You
praying that she was cheating.
Should have
on him.
thought of that, Wes.
Yeah, I should have.
He was
Usually
praying
when
that she was
Jesse's-
cheating on him.
When
Yeah.
Jesse's a few hours late, I'm like, she better be out there cheating on me.
If
All right.
if you had said it like he was praying she was cheating on him or something,
Mhm.
like there's no way me and Mike would have stopped you to question that.
Yeah.
yeah,
We would have let
I
that
would
go
have
without.
gone and interrupted then. Perfect. All right. So Pete acts quickly. In very little time, dozens of volunteer searchers and law enforcement officials, the professional search and rescue, are looking and calling for Barbara. They searched that evening and the entire night, but by morning, no one had found a single piece of evidence in the disappearance. There's knowing glances between searchers, conveying a truth that's becoming more and more clear to everyone, that something really terrible had probably happened to Barbara Schoner. So around 7 a.m. that morning, 3 of Barbara and Pete's friends, who were also ultra runners, showed up to the scene. These men were Russ Brevard, Kurt Fox, and Ernie Flores. Because they're runners, they're helping
Never
Barbara.
heard of them.
Yeah, well, you're about to hear a lot about them. Well, I guess not a lot.
You just did, dude.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
literally
had
just heard
of
about them.
Yeah. That,
You
Jeff.
guys are both just lying all over the place.
When did I lie?
You said he was praying she had a sprained ankle, and you're like, well, I may have just made that
I
up.
mean, he probably was.
Ask me what their names are. Ask me what their 3 names are.
What are their 3 names, Jeff?
I don't know.
He's got a point.
That doesn't mean you haven't heard
He got
of
me.
them. You just can't remember hearing about it. All right. So they're helping her train for her next race. They figured if anyone could find her on these trails, it was them, because they'd all run these trails a lot. They knew them really well, and they kind of knew how runners think, like which trails she might take, where she might go. So as they get near this makeshift camp where the search party had been established, they're told by the volunteers there in these orange vests that search and rescue had everything under control. They didn't really need anyone extra on the trails, so they weren't currently needed. But when these volunteers turn their backs, these 3 men duck under the yellow crime scene tape, and they run up the trail. The morning's foggy and damp. They run up these different trails. They're yelling for
Imagine
Barbara.
being the cop that like has to chase them.
Chase them, they're ultra runners. Get like 4
You
steps.
just
and
like,
you're like, "Ah."
it's like one of those big old cops, dude, that's
Yeah.
just like, but like so determined.
Drops his
So he's
donut,
just
just starts
trunking
sprinting
on.
for 20
Yeah.
feet.
I was thinking-
has a heart attack.
They have those tables set up like rest stations. The cops would just be like coffee and donuts to like refuel at and keep running.
Someone get those guys. All right. Tooth and Claw is brought to you by Element. Element's going to help you stay hydrated without the sugars, the food dyes, the other weird ingredients that are found in popular electrolytes and sports drinks. And if you know anything about electrolyte deficiency or imbalance, you know it can cause headaches, cramps, fatigue, brain fog, and just other kinds of weaknesses. And you really do feel the difference when you get it right. I've been drinking Element now for over a year. I drink it all the time, at least 1 packet a day. And I do just feel the difference when I don't have any. I feel more lethargic. I feel like my brain doesn't work quite as fast and I don't have the right kind of energy. And it's not like there's a huge difference, but it does make a difference for me and I can feel that. And I just do feel more hydrated. Element is a 0 sugar electrolyte drink mix and sparkling electrolyte drink born from the growing body of research that reveals that optimal health outcomes occur at sodium levels that are about 2 to 3 times government recommendations. Professional athletes use this, Olympians use it, all sorts of people that really have to rely on their physical ability in their day-to-day life. I just like incorporating it into my daily routine. My favorite right now is the lemonade salt formula. I just think it's the perfect amount of sweet. I really like the taste. What I always tell people when they're trying Element for the first time is that your first couple sips are going to taste pretty salty, and then it gets sweet after that. It's kind of magic how it works. Anyway, right now you can get a free 8-count sample pack of Element's most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase at drinkelement.com/tooth. You can find your favorite Element flavor and share with a friend. And there's no questions asked refunds, so you're not risking anything. They have a very low return rate and a very high reorder rate. That's drinklmnt.com/tooth. Okay, so they're running up these different trails. It's foggy and damp. They're stopping to peer over the steep edges of these trails. They can hear helicopters whirring above the clouds. They can see tracks from the horses and the people that have been used in this search. And they're continuing to look for Barbara, and they're also starting to kind of accept that she'd probably been either abducted or killed. Then something catches... Yeah, abducted or killed.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that what you meant?
No, but it's possible, you know?
It's abducted.
Yeah, that is a type of abduction.
Like, you'd think you'd find her body if it's not alien. I'm just putting that out there. Maybe.
Well, there's plenty of people that abduct people too, Jeff, and they often don't find those bodies too.
Not on not ultra runners though.
Maybe, if you just anyway, we'll get there. Okay.
No, Jeff's doing a good job. You presented this as a mystery. He's just poking holes.
Aliens are definitely one of the potential
on the list of
options here.
suspects.
Yes,
of course.
I mean, it sounds to me like those people you're saying that go missing and they don't ever find them. You're attributing that to people taking them, and it could have been all of those could have been aliens if
it could have
you
been.
never find them.
Without a doubt. I'm not
you know
saying
what's weird
you're wrong
about
here.
that to me?
We're not disagreeing. Yeah.
Is if we abducted an alien, by the logic of how we label alien abductions, we would call that a human abduction, but no one would understand if you said that. They'd be like, a human got abducted? It'd be confusing.
It would be confusing.
Right?
Would they call it a human abduction, though, or would we call it a human abduction?
We would,
if
I
we
think.
took
I don't
an
know.
Alien.
They would make a sound unheard of by the ears of men.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Unless they're that like little rock spider in Project Hail Mary.
Rocky.
All right.
Ooh,
as they're looking for Barbara, something catches Russ's eye, and he stops to call the other men. He's looking down a steep slope. It's covered in oak trees, some brush, and about 50 feet below, he could see something white laying out in the open. Staring a little harder, he realized what he was looking at. It was a visor. The visor could have easily been trash that was left in the area over the winter, so the men walked slowly along the trail back and forth to see if anything else caught their eye, if anything else looked out of place. And as they get to a bend in the trail, still inside of this visor, they see two big disturbances in the dirt on the side of the trail, like someone had kind of run off the side of the trail there and down the slope. It still isn't like a ton to go off of, but the marks in the dirt convince Russ that he should at least go down this steep slope, brave this poison oak that's everywhere, and at least check out the visor. So he carefully climbs 50 or so feet down to the visor, and when he picks up this white foam visor, he immediately notices thin reddish stains all over the hat. And of course, his mind immediately goes to whether or not these are blood stains. But as he looks down at his feet and all around, the mud that's on his shoes and all around is kind of reddish. And so he thinks this could easily just be mud that had been on this visor that dried. And he kind of talks himself out of thinking that this is Barbara's. Plus, searchers had already scanned this area pretty intensely, and he was pretty sure that they would have seen this hat. But he still just can't shake a weird feeling. So Kurt is up above. He's yelling down at Russ. He's just saying, hey, leave the hat. It's nothing. Let's go look some more. Russ is just about to do that when something else catches his eye, and it makes his blood run cold. Laying not far from where he'd found this hat is a water bottle laying in the leaves. It's kind of a cheap and light water bottle that had an elastic strap on it for a hand, and it's the kind that's almost always used by runners at the time. So Kurt is now convinced that Barbara had been attacked and that he was close to the site where it had happened. So he starts looking around more. He wasn't sure if his eyes were playing tricks on him or not, but now that he's looking really hard, it looked as though he could see the faintest trail in the dead leaves, like something large had been dragged through these leaves. He follows this trail. He's carefully stepping around the poison oak, and the other two men slide down the slope. They start crashing through the brush, trying to keep up with them. And Russ had actually disappeared from their view But suddenly his panicked voice cuts through the air and he says, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, she's right here." Ernie and Kurt pushed through the brush until they were standing next to Russ, and all three men were looking at the pale white calves and the running shoes of Barbara Schoner sticking out of a thin pile of brush and dirt. Her dirty brown hair was visible on the other side of this pile. Ernie bends down to touch her skin to see if she might still be alive. Skin was cold to the touch. He immediately knew that his friend was dead and that her murderer had buried her in a shallow grave and then left.
Man.
So these guys quickly talk, and Russ and Kurt decide they're going to run and tell officials that they'd found Barbara and that Ernie would stay with the body. He was an EMT, so they figured just in case maybe she possibly is alive, you should stay with the body. We'll run and get help.
I feel like you could set a personal best run time with that situation, you know?
Yeah,
really
you
moving.
could go really fast for sure.
That'd be a real tough moment where I've always imagined, not always, but a lot of times I just think if like someone really close to me and I was the first responder and I had to be the one responsible to telling their next of kin, like that would be, I just can't imagine how hard that would be.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's crazy for me about this next part is that they're in like the woods. It's dark, it's cold, and like Ernie just has to sit with the dead body of his friend that was maybe like viciously murdered, and he has to just sit there in the quiet with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine like trying to tell him when you're completely out of breath, too.
Yeah. That'd be a real...
I need to tell you something.
Oh, she is dead.
We found your dead wife.
Wait, what? What'd you say? If you guys discovered me, since there are two people that, or more than one person that was like on this crime scene, right?
Yeah.
How would you decide who of the two of you, if you found me together, like my dead body, who had to like tell my dad? Or would you just do it together?
Yeah, I don't know.
Smash bet?
I feel like your dad would take it all right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be too scared. Yeah, smash it.
Oh, I wouldn't be like scared. I would just be emotionally upset.
If we did a smash bet, we'd have to like put in a weird one too. Like we have a cameo of Mark McGrath telling your dad.
That'd be a good way.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how I'd want you guys to do it. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
I would just
the bet's off.
Take a picture of you and send it to him with no like text or anything.
Or
or a skull emoji.
Maybe the Instagram Tooth and Claw fan account, we could announce the message through them.
Through one of those videos.
Yeah.
Great.
Be like, you like us enough to do us a solid here, right?
Please let Mike's dad know that he died violently. All right. So Ernie's left behind. He hears the sounds of his friends running away, scrambling up the trail as they fade into the distance. And suddenly the forest all around Ernie and Barb's bodies gets very quiet. He slows his breathing to listen to his surroundings, just in case the man that had killed his friend was still around. And a few minutes later, he hears a soft noise in the brush behind him, kind of like the sound of a carefully placed foot. Thinking that he might be about to get the chance to avenge his friend, he spins around toward the noise, but sees nothing. But the hairs on his neck are standing up, and suddenly he realized that the feeling of being watched wasn't just an old wives' tale, it's something that actually happens. Someone was out there in the brush, and he could feel them watching him. So he sat there as quietly as possible until around about 15 minutes later, he hears approaching footsteps, and he sees uniformed officials from the homicide department descending the slope. Ernie's then escorted back to the search and rescue camp, where he rejoins Kurt and Russ, and the three men told they were being detained, that they would be interrogated after the initial analysis of the crime scene. Which I guess makes sense. Like if people have been looking for like 24 hours and they find nothing, and then you immediately go up and find the body, they're probably going to want to ask you some questions.
For sure. Yeah.
Meanwhile, homicide investigators were removing the 5 inches of natural debris from Barbara's body stick by stick and leaf by leaf. After a while, they'd exposed one of her arms, which looked as though it had been pulled behind her with the palm up, kind of like it had been tied. As they continued to pull debris from her body, they discovered a massive wound below her left shoulder that revealed missing portions of her lungs, stomach, esophagus, kidneys, liver, pancreas, and spleen. And they realized they were either looking at one of the more brutal, possibly cannibalistic murders they had ever seen, or something else altogether.
Something inhuman,
Yes.
maybe?
Which would make sense for our podcast.
Something unearthly.
They moved to her head, and carefully lifting it, they found that she had knife-like cuts all over her neck, large puncture wounds in her head and into her skull, and that her entire face had mostly been removed.
Oh, wow.
They also found tawny hairs mixed into her hair and all over her body, and one of the investigators radioed down to the tent where Russ, Ernie, and Kurt were being held and told the officer that the men could be released. This was no murder. A mountain lion had killed Barbara Schoner, and it was the first fatality in the state of California since 1909.
Wow.
Man.
All right. So we've talked a fair amount about mountain lions, even in California, the history of their conservation in the state. And if you want a refresher on that, go back to our episode this last February that's titled The California Cougar Kidnapper. So that really goes over a lot of information about California mountain lions. But I want to highlight a few of the key points to their biology because it's been a minute, and their history of conflict in the state and in North America at large. All right, first of all, technically mountain lions are not considered big cats, and technically is doing a lot of lifting there because that's mostly based on their taxonomy and some morphological differences from the other big cats, like not being able to roar. Their closest relatives are actually the jaguarundi, which is something that we possibly saw in Brazil at night, and the cheetah, which I didn't know. That was news to me, that cheetahs are actually pretty closely related to mountain lions. And those two cats are also technically not considered big cats. But for me, that term's subjective. It's more related to size than anything else. Since mountain lions are slightly bigger than on average than leopards, which are a big cat, and they can kill prey as big as bull elk, I definitely count them as a big cat, and I would definitely count cheetahs as well. How about you
I
guys?
draw the line at cheetah.
Yeah, cheetah's my smallest big cat. I'm with you there. Yeah.
Yeah. Who are these guys? What do you mean technically it's not a big cat?
So some cat researchers and biologists think that you need to have, I forget the exact name of the anatomy, but it's a certain modification in their throat that allows cats to roar.
Yeah.
And when you have that, you're considered a big cat. And so it's like pretty much just the genus Panthera that are considered the big cats for those biologists. For me and for a lot of people, it's just a size thing because it's big cat, you know? Like if you kill a bull elk, you're a big cat.
Yeah. If only there's something else we could use to like describe roaring
big.
cats.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the cats that can roar. Like
Yeah.
if we could use like a word for those type of cats, like
Yeah.
like loud cats.
What would that
or
word be? Yeah.
Louding cats or something
Yeah.
like that.
Roaring cats.
Oh,
Pantera.
there we go.
Yeah.
You think Katy Perry could take down a bull elk? Because she can roar,
yeah.
but that's only like one of the criteria.
I think she could probably just annoy one to death,
You think
you know?
Whoa. Whoa,
Yeah,
shots fired
shots.
at
does
Katie.
she get to have a gun?
Yeah.
No.
Then she probably still can't.
Wow.
Jeez,
All right.
Just hates
you
Katy
are.
Perry.
I know.
I
What's
don't
this
like
all
Katy
about?
Perry. I'll be honest.
Who
Not
do
a
you
Katy Perry
like?
fan. I like a lot
Just
of
because she
people.
went to outer space before you did.
I love Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oscars.
I like
Okay.
Olivia Rodrigo. I like
Billy.
yeah, I like Billie Eilish. I do.
I love
quite
Billie.
a bit. Yeah.
She's the one that married the alligator guy.
I like Hilary Duff. We're friends. No, that's Lana Del Rey.
You like her?
Not a big fan of her, but I don't dislike
Oh my
her.
God.
I just don't really care. Yeah.
That's fair then.
In California, on average, males are going to be around 7.5 feet long, including their tail length. They weigh up to 170 pounds. Females will be around 6 feet long, including their tails, and can weigh up to around 120 pounds. And to me, they're kind of the perfect big cat. And the reason I say that is I think our other big cats are all kind of good at one thing, and mountain lions are good at a lot. Like they climb trees, they're ambush predators from trees, they're really fast on the ground, they're super agile, they're really adept at killing prey. They kind of just do everything we think of when it comes to big cats really well. They have incredibly sharp protractile claws that extend when the muscles in their forelegs contract. And that's something we learned early on in this podcast, that they're not like, that's not a mental thing that they're doing, extending their claws.
It's not a Wolverine.
A physiological thing that's happening as they're running or grabbing prey or whatever else.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Those claws give them both traction to run and to help them grip prey. And then I just wanted to read this short paragraph from the Mountain Lion Foundation on how they often kill their prey. We've talked about this before, but they word it really well, so I just wanted to kind of say how they do it. Prey is normally killed with a bite to the back of the neck at the base of the skull. Do you guys remember what happens next with mountain lions? It's like one of my favorite ways that something kills prey.
They put their big tooth in between their vertebrae and paralyze them.
Yeah, or just kill them. The large canines are inserted between the vertebrae like a wedge, forcing the vertebrae apart and breaking the spinal cord. The speed with which this takes place indicates that the concentration of nerves in its canines allow the cat to feel its way into the vertebrae in a fraction of a second. In the case of larger prey, such as elk, the neck may be broken by pulling the head down and back, breaking it directly or in a fall, which is something I just learned about them, is that they use the gravity sometimes of them like hitting the prey and whipping the head forward, and then they shift their weight to actually just like use that animal's momentum to break its own neck, which is really, really cool.
Oh, man. Can you imagine that, Jeff? Can you imagine dying? What do you think happens after we die, Jeff?
You want a real answer?
Yeah.
Sure, your real answer.
I think we're just done. I think we're gone.
We're finished.
I don't think we go on at all.
It sounds kind of nice sometimes.
Yeah.
I
think either way it's equally as scary.
I couldn't think of like a situation where I want it. Well, we don't need
Let's get into this. This is a great place to talk about this. In the middle of an episode talking about how mountain lions kill things.
Right.
All right. If this fails, the cougar may grasp the throat, crushing the windpipe.
Can you imagine that, Jeff?
This necessitates death through asphyxiation and takes longer, exposing the cougar to possible injury.
Don't need to imagine asphyxiation, Mike.
Yeah.
You've been choked before.
He's done plenty of that.
It's surprisingly effective, depending on what you're going for.
If you go into Jeff's closet right now, you'll see a belt hanging up there that you know what that's for.
Like, why is that belt hole so close to the buckle? That's weird.
The efficiency of the kill will vary depending on prey size, cougar size, angle of attack, and other circumstances. And a quick aside, I forgot to mention this earlier. Cougar, mountain lion, puma, catamount, these are all the same animal. Panther, sometimes people call them panthers. We're talking about the same animal. Panther can mean a lot of different cats, but cougar and mountain lion are the two ones we usually use in North America. Puma is used Mexico South pretty much.
Life's been a little crazy lately. Had to pick out a Halloween costume. Just a lot of stuff going on. And one thing that helps me unwind, cornbread hemp CBD gummies. Cornbread hemp CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, discomfort, or just needing a little relaxation. They only use the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, formulated to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness. All products are third-party lab-tested and USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. And honestly, we could all use a little bit less stress and a little better sleep. So right now, Tooth and Claw listeners get 30% off their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/tooth and use code TOOTH at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/tooth and use code TOOTH.
I just love my cat so much. I really love my dog too, but her moods are a little bit more variable. And our cat is just the constant kind of best guy in our house. He's just so nice and funny and perfect. The other day I was laying down watching a movie and he just came and laid on my chest and stuck his legs up in the air and just let me rub his belly for the longest time. And it's just so sweet. So I really just want to give him the best possible of everything. And that's why we feed him Smalls. Smalls is real, preservative-free, great food. It's protein-packed. And it's food that you would find in your fridge that you would want to eat. And it's delivered straight to your door. Cats.com actually named Smalls their best overall cat food because it is that good. And starting with Smalls is really easy. You just share your info about your cat's diet, their health, their overall food preferences. They put together a personalized sampler just for your cat. There's not going to be any picking between random brands at the store. It's going to be the right food that's just perfect to satisfy your cat's craving. For me, I just feel like feeding Toad, my cat Smalls, he just seems more happy. His coat is shinier, seems a little bit more energetic. And just seeing him overall happy to eat his food is really the best possible reward. And that's why I love feeding him Smalls. And another side effect is I do feel like his breath is a lot better than it used to be before too, which is great. So what are you waiting for? Give your cat the food they deserve. For a limited time, because you're a Tooth and Claw listener, get 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/tooth. One last time, that's 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/tooth. Okay. To me, the way they kill their prey is one of the cooler things about them. It's also probably one of the main reasons that a lot of people seem to have a pretty intense fear of mountain lions. As I've talked to people throughout my years as a biologist and talked to them about bears, I find that almost everyone says, I'm not really worried about bears, but I do get really creeped out by mountain lions, which I always just thought was kind of interesting because bears attack a lot more people than mountain lions do. Okay, a few more facts about mountain lions. They've been measured to jump 45 feet horizontally and 15 feet vertically. It's pretty crazy. Whoa. That's a lot more feet than I can jump. Jeff, 45 feet horizontally is pretty much a school bus.
I think the only time I really tried long jump, what was I getting to, Mike? Like 18 feet?
You're a little over 8. I was surprised. That's like not a terrible jump for someone who is like not in shape to, well, like at least not training to do that. I was like, whoa, over 18 feet.
Started as a compliment.
Good. What's your personal best, Mike?
My best was 22:11, I believe.
Okay. You know, double what you were jumping, which is crazy to think about. Like it's the length of a school bus.
I bet you they could jump even
Can I imagine that?
further or higher if they got like really scared too. You know how when cats get scared, they just like jump so high.
Yeah.
They have roughly 287 degrees of visual field. To put that in perspective, we have about 200. So they can see further behind them than we can.
A little bit.
Based on the rods and cones in their eyes, it's thought that they probably can't detect a lot of color until they're closer to objects, but their low light visibility is much better than ours. Even when they can see color, it's probably just a few different shades. They don't have a lot of color vision. All right,
a lot of grays, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of grays.
Different shades.
Have you guys ever heard of Merkel cells? Merkel?
I have.
Okay.
Or no, I'm thinking sickle cell. That's different. Yeah, that's bad.
Maybe you're thinking of Steve Urkel instead of Merkel.
That's what I thought of.
Did I do that? Remember that?
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was good. That was good, Mike.
That's good stuff.
Like, say the line.
I already did. I'm not saying it again.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
That's like a provisional one, though. Like, eventually he will have died, and then someone will listen to this episode.
And everyone's going to be like, who? All right. Basically, these Merkel cells are cells in your skin that are responsible for detecting light touch. So if you guys were to ever feel a tiny bug crawling on your skin, or if either of you ever experienced the delicate touch of a lover, you're going to be using those Merkel cells. That's going to be what you're using to feel that.
Is it named after Meghan Merkel?
Possibly, but I doubt it.
Her light touch, you know that's going to get that prince going.
Those
Dude, I started watching Suits. I see it now. When she got married to him, I was kind of like, I don't know. But when I started watching Suits, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Megan, if you're listening, you got Jeff's stamp of approval. Mountain lion whiskers and a lot of mammalian whiskers, which are also commonly called vibrissae, are absolutely packed with these Merkel cells, and it makes them ultra-sensitive receptors that they can use to navigate their world. So how that works is there's these tight clusters of nerve endings at the base of each whisker, and they can detect changes to airflow and their surroundings, which can indicate nearby objects or prey. They're so sensitive that they don't need to make physical contact with an object to see it. So people think that maybe these whiskers are so sensitive that if the wind is blowing toward a mountain lion and then suddenly it just shifts ever so much, they know that there's some kind of animal moving through that wind and they can detect it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Insane.
They also have vibrissae on their wrists that sense movement close to the ground and help them position their paw perfectly so it makes no noise. And according to a 1979 study on behaviors of both domestic and wild cats, their facial whiskers may help them orient their bite as it captures and kills prey. So they use their whiskers for like really fine-scale movement and whatnot around the world. Mountain lions chirp, shriek, growl, and purr, but they don't roar. They live in almost every ecosystem in North and South America, with the only exceptions really being aquatic ecosystems and the far northern Arctic. They are the most widespread land mammal in the Americas, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is interesting.
How fast can they run? What's your guess?
52.
44.
If we're doing Price is Right rules, Jeff wins. If we're doing normal rules, Mike wins.
No, we're doing Price is Right. We always are.
About 50 miles per hour. So very close.
Doggone it.
Cubs are born spotted with blue eyes. They're very cute. What's your guys' two favorite names for mountain lions?
Is that Screeching Devil? Wasn't that one? I like that one.
I think that was
Devil.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
I like Puma because their scientific name is Puma concolor, and I feel like every other country they're found in, they call them pumas, and I just like the way it sounds. And then I like mountain lion too. I like mountain lion more than cougar.
Cougar
Really?
is cool,
Yeah.
except for
Cougar's
you think
cool.
of older women now. So I feel
Yeah.
like that affects
that's
it.
Only makes it cooler,
And, like,
right?
they're cool, yeah.
It kind of makes me think of BYU too, which just feels kind of tame. But mountain lion is just so descriptive. It sounds like a fantasy animal, you know?
That was my high school mascot
Mountain lion?
for a couple of years while I was living in Nevada. Yeah.
Yeah. In California,
That's a cool
they're-
little
they're-
fact you guys know about
That
me
is
now.
a great fact, yeah. In California, they've killed 7 people since 1890, and 29 total fatalities have been attributed to mountain lions since 1868 throughout all of North America. So that's Canada and the United States. 29
That's so
fatalities.
interesting to me that your cohort of bear biologist friends are
Yeah.
creeped out by. Do you think that's just a question of them being more familiar with bears and how to deal with
This
them, or
isn't
what?
This isn't bear biologists. I'm just talking about random people that come up to me
Oh,
and say,
okay.
like, what should I do if I see a bear? And I'll tell them, and then they'll be like, yeah, I'm not that afraid of bears, but I'm afraid of mountain lions. I feel like the common person is more
Interesting.
afraid of mountain lions often. They shouldn't
Yeah.
be.
Would you be more afraid of Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger, Mike?
Probably Freddy.
Right. But
Yeah.
Michael Myers actually kills more people.
Do you think that's true?
I don't
You
know.
really, you were hoping your confidence would carry you through that one, but
I knew
You
that
might be
either
right, I
way,
don't know.
either answer you
You're-
chose, I had to defend the other guy.
yeah. You would have been so
'Cause they're
good in
kinda
debate.
equally scary.
Basically, though, looking at those statistics, it's about 1 fatality every 5 years, which is a really low fatality rate
That's
for
nothing.
large cats. Yeah, it's nothing. Honestly, I think maybe the only other big cat by our qualifications that kills less would be cheetahs and snow leopards.
Jaguars don't kill a lot either.
No, but I think they kill more than 1 every 5 years, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
They're probably pretty close to jaguars. There's thought to be about 40 or more fatal leopard attacks just in India every single year. So there's more in
Dude.
1 year in India than there has been in the entire pretty much history of North America.
But per person
Written
that
history.
lives in India and per person that lives in America, it's probably about even. Since
So-
they got like 10 billion people in India.
There's a huge difference, socioeconomically, all of that, but I don't think that accounts for this because
Yeah.
if you go back
Leopards
to the
just will attack people more.
Yeah, and if you go back to the late 1800s, the differences weren't that grand, and like technology was about the same, and you still didn't see a ton of mountain lion attacks, and there was still a lot of leopard attacks. So I think really the big difference here is natural behavior when it comes to interacting with humans. And my guess again is this is mostly because, like the jaguar, mountain lions spent most of their evolution essentially separated from human beings. And when they finally did encounter human beings, when people finally came across the land bridge 20,000 years ago, they already had technology that would allow them to kill mountain lions in a pinch. So stuff like spears, arrows, knives. So they were never squarely in the prey category for mountain lions, and they just don't really view us as prey, like leopards or lions or tigers do. Back to our story. That night, Ernie would hear on the news that his friend Barbara had not been murdered, but that she had been killed by a mountain lion, and he realized there was a good chance that lion had still been there watching him from the brush while he waited with the body. broke down into tears at the kitchen table as his family surrounded him and did their best to comfort him. Based on the details that these investigators and wildlife officials could get from the scene, they were able to piece together what probably happened to Barbara as she was on her morning run. There's a bit of a disagreement between some of these professionals as they investigated the scene, and I'm going to use kind of the one they constructed that came from the person that I thought had the most experience and that made the most sense. And now that we know who our culprit is, I'm going to say my source. My primary source was this book, Cat Attacks, by Joe Deboruk and Dean Miller. This book's quite good, actually, if you're interested in mountain lion attacks.
What's it about?
Interesting details. It's about cat attacks. Great question. Okay. As Barbara ran, she got warmer and tied her sweatshirt around her waist. Less than an hour into her run, she approached a long, U-shaped curve that at its peak overlooked the American River far below. It's a beautiful section of this trail, and it also happened to be the spot where a young female mountain lion was hunting that morning. This lion had likely seen dozens, if not hundreds of runners and hikers and walkers in the area throughout its life, but something about Barbara, and it's impossible to say exactly what this was, piqued the interest of this particular mountain lion, and it started following her progress from high on the hill. As it quickly moved through the manzanita and the scrub oak, it's keeping its large green eyes on the moving woman below on the trail, and then it kind of saw where she was heading, and it ran around this U-shaped thing and shortcut her, and was waiting for her ahead in dense, brushy area with a steep slope. Although this is a younger mountain lion, it already knew that the reduced visibility and a steep downhill would help it catch and then use gravity of its falling prey to kill it as quickly as possible. Mike, do you have a question?
No, I was just thinking that's probably how Obi-Wan felt with the high ground.
Yeah, it knew it had the high ground. Exactly. There's
run down
absolutely nothing that could happen at this point to stop it from winning.
I assume there probably wasn't lava on this running trail either, so it was feeling
I don't
extra.
think so. Yeah, didn't have to worry
even
about
more confident.
Yeah. All right, so this lion is essentially lying in wait in this brush when Barbara enters this area, and when she speeds past this crouched predator, it jumps forward and ran toward the woman. So they think it let her run by it, and then it ran behind her, completely silent. It had never attacked a human before. Its mother had never attacked a human before. But this mountain lion had a cub stashed in a bush not far from here, and for whatever reason, she decided to investigate this new food source. Barbara likely didn't even see it as the 82-pound cat slammed into her 5'8", 120-pound frame and sent her sliding down the hill 50 feet until both of them hit a small pine tree. During this slide, she probably felt sharp pain in her shoulder and neck while the cat tried to find a killing bite on prey that it had never really encountered before. She reached behind her with her hands to try and free herself from this violent mystery attacker, and in the process, the mountain lion bit her hands pretty severely. So severely that as they were investigating the crime scene, they found one of her gloves, and the tip of her finger was inside of the glove. She's pinned against the tree. The cat continues to try and bite and kill her. It's raking at her with its claws, biting her hands and arms as she reached behind to try and pry it off. And then its teeth found her neck and bit deep, tearing her artery and spraying blood about 6 feet high into the branches of the tree that they were pinned against. This is, again, what one of the experts thinks happened. A lot of the news reported her as like getting up and fighting off this cat and then getting attacked again. I tend to think that probably didn't happen, because usually if people do get up and fight, it lasts a lot longer because the cat loses its bravado. It kind of like realizes that it's dealing with something different than what it usually kills. And just based off of what I heard about this this attack scene, it does seem like it was very quick. And I think that's the way I'd like to imagine it too. Because of all this blood loss with the open artery spraying blood, she lost her strength fast. The cat readjusted its grip and bit into her head, fracturing her skull, and then it pulled and started dragging her deeper into the brush. There is some evidence that would suggest she was still alive when the cat started feeding on her and into her organs, tearing through her rib cage. But for me, I'd like to think that her consciousness was either far away because she had lost so much blood, or that she'd already died. Either way, it was pretty quick. The cat fed, then it cached Barbara's body near the kill site, and then returned that night and dragged the body even further into the brush to the spot where ultimately Russ would find his friend dead the next day. And that night, she and her cub both fed on the body. They found lots of little bite marks from the cub. And then they walked to the nearby creek to drink. Her cub was about the size of a house cat at this point, playful. And like any good mother cougar, she was constantly protecting, feeding, grooming her offspring. So what looked to at first be a cruel, evil murder was actually just a natural predator securing unnatural prey for its cub. There's no malice, there's no ill will, but also no compassion. It's just a simple, violent transaction that this mountain lion had repeated time and time again throughout its life with other prey. And I just want people to think about that, because I think you hear about something like this, especially the way we set up this story as kind of a murder mystery, and it sounds so scary. And when you picture a mountain lion, biting into someone, it feels very violent and intentional. This is just how they get food. This is an animal that is a predator. They only eat meat. There's nothing in this cat that is angry or anything against this person. It's just trying to eat, and that is it just is unfortunate that this time it was a human that it decided to eat, both for the human and for this cat, which we'll talk about.
This episode is brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month years ago. Ditch overpriced wireless with their jaw-dropping monthly bills, unexpected overages, and hidden fees. Plans start at $15 a month at Mint. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I did this, like I said, years ago. I had just graduated, I was poor, I was looking for any way to save any kind of money that I could, and when I discovered Mint Mobile's $15 a month plan, it felt like the weight of the world was taken off my shoulders. I was overjoyed to discover that it was just as good as any plan I had ever used before, and so much less expensive. So are you ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/tooth. That's mintmobile.com/tooth. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Ever wake up sweaty, freezing, or just uncomfortable? The temperature in your bedroom can make or break your sleep. That's why I switched to Miracle Made sheets, and I've never looked back. They're inspired by NASA technology and use silver-infused temperature-regulating fabric to help you sleep perfectly all night long. All night long. They feel just as good, if not better, than sheets you find at 5-star hotels, but without the steep price tag. Smooth, breathable, and ridiculously comfortable. And all that hidden bacteria in regular sheets, gross. It can clog your pores and cause breakouts. Miracle Made's antibacterial design helps you sleep cleaner and clearer night after night. For real too, they just look really nice. They look like good sheets. I love them. You should get some right now. So upgrade your sleep, or Christmas is coming up, give the gift of better rest. Go to trymiracle.com/tooth to try Miracle Made sheets today. You'll save over 40%, and when you use promo code TOOTH, you get an extra 20% off, plus a free 3-piece towel set. Make sure you check that box, though. They make an amazing gift, and with 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk. That's trymiracle.com/tooth, code TOOTH at checkout. Thanks to Miracle Made for sponsoring this episode.
Almost immediately, a hunt was launched to try and catch the responsible mountain lion. Houndsmen from around the region were called. They used bite marks and evidence from the site and guessed that they were probably looking for an adult female mountain lion or an immature male. 5 teams of professional trackers with their hounds combed the area day and night, but a cold spell and some rain made finding any fresh tracks really difficult for these hunters. And they decided to focus on the area around where they found the body, because mountain lions obviously return to their kills as much as possible, but then they even do it sometimes when the kill's been removed. So while the hunters were confident they would catch a mountain lion sooner or later, they knew they had to do it sooner, because the longer that time passed, the less evidence they would have to prove that the cat they caught was the one responsible. So after a few days, enough time would pass that the stomach contents wouldn't prove anything. And then after a few more days, any blood or skin under the claws wouldn't be usable either. So they knew they had to catch it quick. On May 1st, 1994, they finally crossed a fresh mountain lion track near the kill site. And within a matter of minutes, their dogs had treed a cat in a large black oak not far from where her body had been found. When I say treed, that means they chased the mountain lion up a tree, and they kept it up in the tree. The lead hunter, who worked for the federal government, got permission from local wildlife officials to shoot the cat, and with one shot, he brought her down from the tree. Subsequent analysis showed that this mountain lion had human tissue under its nails, and officials were very confident that they had caught the responsible lion. She was lactating, so they knew that there had to be a cub nearby. 3 days later, they found a dehydrated and weak cub on a rock outcropping nearby. It was taken to a nearby zoo. It was named Willow, and it lived there, had a really good life for 15 years. Pete, Barbara's husband, would actually take his kids to the zoo to visit Willow, which to me is like really beautiful and poetic. Made me a little emotional because like both of these kids lost their moms to this terrible interaction, and they both kind of got to bond over that.
Yeah, it was really nice.
I thought that was really
And this
sweet.
is like a anger exercise. They went out there just to like
just throw rocks at it.
You deserve to be in there.
I don't think that was it. I think Pete was doing it for the more beautiful reason.
Okay.
All right. Just like I'm imagining him praying for her to have a broken ankle. All right.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy to me. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
A really interesting thing is this was the first mountain lion fatality in California since 1909. And there had been 2 deaths in 1909, but they were both the result of a rabid mountain lion. And now a healthy, wild, normal mountain lion had killed a person. And it really changed the vibe in that part of California, especially in the running community. People just kind of suddenly felt like all of these trails and everything they used to run were suddenly a lot wilder than they had thought. And I want to read a quote from a 2004 article on a running website. It says, "In some ways, it would almost have been better if it had been someone who had killed Barbara, a homicide," said Greg Soderlund, race director of the Western States 100-mile endurance run. "It would have been easier to understand. But it was way worse that it was a cougar because it changed things for all of us. It really did. The innocence was gone. These animals could not only hurt you, they could kill you."
Interesting perspective to take.
A very interesting one.
And a little naive.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like you have to wait till a mountain lion kills someone to know that they can kill someone.
Right. When like they killed other people during that time period in other parts of the world. And it's kind of, I think it's kind of similar to how in like Yosemite, they don't allow bear spray because their bears have never attacked anyone. And it's like, well, they're going to at some point, you know? And I think it's a little naive. And I also think it's a little, and I don't want to be too hard on this guy, but it's kind of a little egotistical to think like, you know, we're just out in nature and we're kind of top dog out here, you know, and nothing bad has ever happened. So nothing ever will. Egotistical is the wrong word, but more of like, I don't know. That's not the world I want to live in, where like we don't have to think about that, you know? And I get that for them, that was just a negative, but also it kind of was a reminder like, hey, we've preserved a wild space here. There's wild animals. There's animals here that have been existing here a lot longer than we have. And we've managed to keep some of them here. And that's something that we were just reminded about in a really violent way. And we need to think about, and we need to prepare and educate and be more prepared next time.
For sure.
Anyway, I think it's important that we have places where mountain lions can live, and that we just need to be a little bit more ready to enter those places.
And if California does kill all their mountain lions, maybe they'll put them on their flag at least.
Yeah, serious. Just put them right under that bear, that grizzly bear. Yeah.
Oh, you want both of them on there? You don't want it just to replace the bear?
They just start adding every dangerous animal that they've gotten rid of.
No, it's kind of like, I don't know.
It's sobering.
Makes me think about Tony Hawk.
Why is that?
Well, it's just like, you know, the 900 is possible, but like it's kind of hard to believe it until someone actually does it.
Yeah.
But now you just have like 9-year-old kids doing like 1280s back to back and stuff. So someone had to break through that barrier, you know? So that's why I think this mountain lion is kind of like the Tony Hawk.
Well, it's kind of interesting you say that because like, I mean, this was the 3rd fatality in the state. There's 2 people killed in 1909 by a rabid cat. And since 1994, there's been 4 more. So it did kind of speed up after this happened.
That is
It's
interesting how
kinda
that...
close to when Tony Hawk did the 900
Yeah,
too.
it's not too far from that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And why would you guys think that there probably has been a little bit more conflict between humans and mountain lions in California?
Encroachment.
Yes, encroachment. We're just pushing animals toward things that they can't handle, and sometimes then they have to take bigger risks. And in this case, I don't think that's what happened. I think like this was just a cat that decided it wanted to try something new and it went for it. It was healthy. It wasn't in a place where it was really being encroached. There's plenty of deer, but that can happen too. And that's the important thing. So that's why on this podcast, we teach people what to do. And there's a couple tips I just wanted to go over quickly before we got into categories. First of all, bear spray does work on mountain lions. So if you're worried about mountain lions, buy a can of bear spray, take it with you. It works really well on this animal. The main thing is you got to see it first, which isn't always the case, like with Barbara. So if you're on a trail and you're running or whatever, I would recommend you do it with a friend if you're in mountain lion country, or do it like midday rather than early morning or late at night. If you have a pet, keep it leashed. If you're with small children, don't let them go too far ahead of you on the trail or whatever. If you see a mountain lion, don't approach it. Don't run. Stay calm. If it comes toward you, then you start making a lot of noise. You get yourself as big as possible. Be very aggressive. If it keeps coming toward you, you can even run toward it and just try and intimidate it. You're trying to be as dominant, as loud, as intimidating as possible. If it does attack you, you need to fight it off. You never play dead. You never do anything else. You fight it off.
I do think like that's part of why they are so scary though, is all that advice you just gave is great. And
Yeah.
I don't think she could have really done any of that, you know?
Yeah.
It got her from behind. She never saw it coming. And like with
For
bears,
sure.
I feel like most of the time you have a second to get your bear spray out.
Yeah.
And with mountain lions, sometimes it's just like you're
Ambush.
falling down a hill with a tooth in your neck.
For sure. But it's like these ones that you hear about where it's like that so quick and so efficient. They're like, of the 28 fatalities there's been in North America, there's like 2 or 3 of them that are like that. Most of them are more prolonged where, you know, there could have been something that stopped it from happening. It's like when a great white decides it wants to just eat someone and it just bites them in half. It hardly ever happens, but when it does, there's just nothing you can do. You know?
Like you always say this is a bad idea, but maybe for mountain lions, it'd be kind of smart to pat a little bear spray on the back of your neck before you run.
I don't know if I would do that. No, I would not do that. But maybe like a necklace of cans of bear spray.
Or just
know?
like wear one of those airplane pillows as you run.
Yeah.
Or like tape a Tide Pod there, because you die if you eat one of those. It is one of those animals though that the preventative measures you can take before you have an encounter seems like the most important step. Like, just don't be out there alone. The more people you have with you, it'll just drastically reduce the chances that something like that will ever happen in the first place.
It is. With mountain lions, the thing I just really want to drill in is that they hardly ever attack people. And when they do, it's usually little kids. It just doesn't happen that often, considering how many of them there are. Of all of our big cats, this is the only one in the world that's IUCN least concern. They are doing great. There are lots of them, and they don't attack us. They really just leave us alone. They're very conflict averse. They're not defensive. When they do attack, it's predatory, and that's incredibly rare. So if you are worried about them, that's fine. I get it. I understand that it's worried there might be something out there hunting you. Carry some bear spray. Go out in groups. You'll be fine. So should we get on to our categories?
I have one question, just a general question about caching, since that came up a little bit in the story. I know it's different because you worked primarily with bears and not mountain lions, but just generally with caching, is it usually about the same amount of dirt and branches and stuff they'll try to cover it up with, or does that vary?
Not always. Yeah. Grizzlies will sometimes put like a ton of material over their stuff, like a huge mound. Mountain lions, it tends to be like this real shallow kind of thing like we talked about. And it's mostly just to cut down scent and make it harder for stuff to find it. But I don't know how much variation there is in between individuals. An interesting thing about mountain lions, though, is sometimes they'll cache their prey before they even feed on it. Sometimes they'll immediately cache it and then come back later to actually feed on it.
Yeah, sometimes I'll grab like a free donut from the office lunchroom.
Yeah.
But like you're not hungry for it yet, so you just put it by your mouse on your desk.
Sure.
Sometimes
Happens
if
all the
I'm
time.
getting a sandwich, I'll buy 2 sandwiches and cache one for later.
Yeah. Just
There you
cover
go.
it up.
Or hat.
That.
Smart.
All right. Well, if there's not any other questions, should we get into our categories?
Yeah, I want to add one.
Yeah.
I want to do the Animal Olympics.
Okay. I just wanted to say really quickly too, like it's very possible some of her kids are still alive. Her husband's probably still alive. This is a huge tragedy, and our hearts definitely go out to you guys. Like, can't
Of
imagine
course.
losing someone this close to me in this way. So,
Yeah.
hopefully you guys are still doing okay.
I joked a bit, but like we actually really do appreciate you visiting that lion at the zoo and still like not hating mountain lions.
Yeah.
Would Willow still be alive?
No. Willow lived, it was the Folsom City Zoo Sanctuary, which I looked at their website. It seems like a pretty good zoo. And Willow was there for 15 years and then I believe passed away, which is a healthy old age for a mountain lion. So,
Okay.
our first category, your favorite pop culture where CSI or any kind of crime scene investigation plays a big role.
I'm going to go with Manhunter, the Michael Mann movie. Just where he has like the voice recorder and he's really like detailed about everything he sees in the room. It's like the Hannibal type of story with why am I blanking on his name? Lecter. What's it?
Yeah, Hannibal
what's his
Lecter.
name? Hannibal
Yeah.
Lecter. Yeah. But it was like the first version of that, which actually might be my favorite, even over Silence of the Lambs. It's so
Sure.
good, Manhunter. And there's that scene where he just like really breaks down a murder room that was really good.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of I think it's season 1 of The Wire, where McNulty and his partner go to the little apartment where there was a shooting, and it's just them saying the F word for like 8 minutes straight. That's the only thing they say. That's not my answer. My answer is it's a game called The Return of the Obra Dinn. And it's like sometime back in, I don't know, 1800s or something, a boat at sea was lost. And it was kind of a mysterious disappearance. But then all of a sudden it comes back to the docks, but no one's alive on it. And they only have like the captain's logbook to kind of suss out exactly what happened. And you spend the whole game, and it's really cool, like visual aesthetic they have going on. It's like a pointillism, pixel-based kind of thing. Beautiful music, but you are the investigator. You're the crime scene investigator trying to like you're getting up to some supernatural investigative techniques. It's really cool. It's a really beautiful and fun game. Puzzle
you would
game.
probably love like an escape room if you're into that.
Nope, I would not. Oh boy. I would have to do that solo first too.
Yeah, serious. I'm just going to go hang out in an escape room by myself. All right, mine, I picked a kind of weird one. And I think I maybe said this before when we talked about like detectives, but I picked the Tarsem Singh movie, The Cell, starring Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Lopez and what's his name? The guy from Full Metal Jacket.
Vincent
D'Onofrio.
Beautiful movie.
It is really beautifully shot, but when I saw that movie, I was younger in college, and it kind of made me want to be an FBI agent for a bit, because seeing the way they like analyzed crime scene and they like found a dog hair and realized, that he had a dog and all these different things just made me think like, oh, this is this really interesting puzzle that they're putting together to save people's lives. And in that movie, it's like a very easy thing to conceptualize, because it's like there's a ticking timer until the next victim dies. So it just, I don't know, for whatever reason, that movie made me think that crime scene investigation was really cool. Never seen a single episode of CSI.
Is interesting is Kash Patel, like the FBI director.
Yeah.
FBI, you want to be able to like find every clue and everything. Yeah. And he can open his eyes wider than anyone else. So I do wonder if that like, helps him at all.
That's probably why he got appointed. Trump was probably
his
like,
eyes,
big eyes.
This guy's not going to miss anything.
Yeah, he sees everything. He's like a mountain lion.
He probably has like a mountain lion, 360 degrees.
How many rods do you think he has in there and cones?
Millions.
All right. So our next category, I want to hear your favorite 2 nicknames that you've ever had. This is a cat with a lot of names. What are your favorite nicknames that anyone's ever given you?
When I was little, my best friend's last name was Simpson, and I'd go over to their house all the time. And he had a bunch of really cool older brothers that like didn't really ever give me the time of day. But when they found out my last name was Smith, they called me Smithers because they were huge. Yeah. It's actually kind of funny. We were having a family dinner. I was just at the table. Like I was the awkward little friend and the rest of the family was at the table. And one of the brothers said something like, "I'm getting kind of tired of The Simpsons." And it was like a scandal. It turned into like a big fight.
That is funny.
But yeah, I appreciated them calling me Smithers because it felt like, I don't know.
That's
when someone gives you a nickname, it's like you get, it's like the seal of approval, you know?
Yeah. What's your other one?
Or it's bullying.
I think it's usually an endearment, even if it feels like bullying sometimes.
Right. I don't think it. I think there's plenty of cases where nicknames are pure bullying.
Okay.
We might hear one of those from Jeff, maybe even two.
Sounds like
we're giving. Yeah. My friends in high school called me Smythe, which is kind of that was like, it came out of nowhere and has never been said to me again outside of those like 3 years. But
yeah. All right. Jeff, what are yours?
Smythe, huh? Did we never give you a better nickname than Smythe?
Which is
Weren't
fine.
you like
cool.
Stem Cell Mike or something?
Oh yeah. Stem Cell Research Mike 2.
Jeff, what are your two favorite nicknames?
Maybe I'll have to replace one. I like Jay first. That was like of all the 20 nicknames my older brothers gave me, that was the one I was kind of chill with. I was like, I kind of like that. And then, actually, I like Goop too. Goop was always kind of funny to me. And yeah, I like Bad Jeff.
Bad Jeff was my favorite.
Because we had two Jeffs, and I went by Bad Jeff, which kind of, I felt cool going by Bad Jeff.
That's cool.
Jay-Z Big E was a good one.
My two favorites
high school teacher
are probably Vazel, which was Weasel in German, and that's what my dad called me growing up. Still calls me that sometimes. And then I actually like the one I gave myself, which was GrizzKid, which was more of an Instagram handle, but kind of turned into a nickname that a lot of people call me.
Jizzskid.
Jizzskid? I've never given myself that nickname, but
I've said it before.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what we've been calling you behind your back for years.
Yeah.
That is an interesting case where
it's endearment.
Not often is it that you give yourself a nickname that catches on.
Yeah. And it wasn't, that wasn't my plan, you know? But,
right.
All right. I got a fun category now, a game. This game's called Mountain Lion or Mountain Truthin'. All right. I'm going to ask you guys a series of questions about mountains that are truth or false questions. Am I saying that right?
True or false?
True or
you
false.
Don't say truth. Yeah.
And you guys have to tell me whether or not they're true or false. The rules are whoever misses the most has to buy $10 or less treat for me and the winner in the airport on Saturday. But if either of you get all of the questions right, I will buy you $10 in treats, regardless. And the winner and the loser will also have to buy them for you in the airport on Saturday. Okay. Mountain Lion or Mountain Truthin'? Question number 1. Mount Elbert in Colorado is the highest peak in the lower 48 at 14,497 feet, followed closely by Mount Whitney in California at 14,433 feet. Is that Mountain Lion or Mountain Truthin'?
Can I just say false instead of that other thing?
Sure.
I'm going to say false.
I'll say true.
It is false. Mount Whitney is the tallest in the lower 48. So far Mike has one. Jeff doesn't
commanding
have any.
lead.
And Jeff, you can't get all of them. Okay, number 2. The Mid-Ocean Ridge mountain system is by far the longest mountain system in the world, underwater, stretching approximately 40,000 miles over its total length.
I'll say false because underwater doesn't count.
I'll say true because I've heard something about an underwater mountain lion being the longest.
Okay, Mike is 2 for 2. Jeff is 0 for 2. Mountain Truthin'. Number 3. The longest range on land are the Andes in South America.
I'll say false because those are actually underwater.
Okay.
I'll get into the spirit of the game. I'm gonna say Mountain Truthin'.
Okay. You are correct. They are the longest mountain range on land. Mike is 3 for 3. Jeff is 0 for 3. Mike, if you
I'm
get this
trying
next one
now
right,
to go,
and Jeff gets it
I'm
wrong,
trying to-
yeah.
Shoot the moon. If Jeff shoots the moon, he wins, right?
Sure. If you get them all completely wrong, I will buy you $10 in treats. Number 4, the state of Rhode Island is the lowest average topography state in the country, with the highest point a mere 345 feet in elevation.
Mountain Falsen. Lion.
False. Lion.
It is false. Mountain Lion. Florida is the lowest on average in the country.
Ooh.
Mike, you're 4 for 4. Jeff, you got one
Florida's
right.
good.
So
Oh
you
shit!
can't shoot
I
the moon
forgot.
anymore.
I
Yeah,
knew
you
the
messed up.
I wondered. All right, number 5. Roald Amundsen was the first person to summit Mount Everest, completing the task in 1953.
Mountain Lion. It was
Mountain
well,
Lion is some Sherpa whose name I probably can't say.
probably a Sherpa, but the first white person is Sir Edmund Hillary, right?
Correct. Mountain Lion. It was Sir Edmund Hillary in that year, 1953. Final question here.
I'm not saying that the white person is the only one that counts or is the first one that
I
should
don't-
count. I'm just saying conventional
I don't
knowledge.
think, but the thing is, I
that.
don't think these Nepalese Sherpas were like going up there. I think they were
They
kind of
weren't
just like, look at this
Sherpas
mountain.
yet.
This is crazy. You know?
You don't think?
I don't
no one
think
ever did
so.
it before? It's possible. I just want to say that, like, the way I said white person made it sound maybe like I
Yeah.
was being
No,
like,
no.
racially weird.
But like what I thought is they kind of just respected it too much to feel like they needed to go up there and like conquer it,
Oh.
you know?
Sure, yeah.
I think that was very much like a white colonial viewpoint. Okay. Number 6, Mike, if you get this one right, I will have to buy you a treat. Jeff will have to buy you a treat. Jeff will also have to buy me a
Ooh.
treat. Number
I think
6,
Jeff kind of has to.
mountains cover approximately 24% of the Earth's surface.
False. That's water.
24% are mountains? That's so, I don't know, like the tectonic plates and stuff. I'll go true.
True. Mike's. Nice job.
Holy moly.
I owe you a treat. Jeff owes both of us treats.
Hey, thanks, Jeff and Wes.
All right.
Welcome.
Next category. Let's do our animal Olympics for mountain lions.
I wanted to throw one in here that I thought of when you're talking about their whiskers.
Yeah.
I think they could be a really good golf caddy
Why's that?
because like golfers need to know the exact wind once they get really good.
Oh, that's a good
And
point.
mountain lion would be able to tell them like exactly the wind. I think with like their paws being extra sensitive too, they'd be really good at reading the slopes of the green.
Yeah.
So I think they'd be an excellent golf caddy.
They would.
Do caddies also get the medal?
I
Doubt
Does
it.
the cat? I hope so.
Is
They
golf
deserve
an
it. if
Olympic
they-
sport?
Uh-huh.
It would suck if you got mauled every time you went to ask for a new club. That would be the bad part about them being a caddy. But aside from that, something you recommend this week?
I'm going to say Taylor's Back. That second to most recent album sucked, but this one was great. And Father Figure's a great song.
I'm going to recommend homemade bread. And if you're bad at making homemade bread like I am, I'd get a bread maker. Turns out they do a real good job
Yeah.
for you. It's really easy and it's delicious.
And it's like the Great British Bake Off season, so it's always like more fun to bake something when you have that going.
That's true when you're in the mood.
I'm going to recommend a nice fall walk. I just feel like this is the best time of year to go for a nice little walk. The leaves are beautiful. It's crisp outside. It's nice to hear like the crunching leaves under your feet. I just think it's prime walking time right now. So a fall walk. All right. I got a couple questions from Patreon. This one's from Izzy. Izzy says, "Hi guys, I just discovered the pod via Too Scary Didn't Watch. Glad you listened to them, Izzy. Question about sharks. I know Wes said that they're more likely to attack if you're thrashing around in the water. Do sharks recognize the sound of human screams? Should you try to be as quiet as possible, or does it not really matter? I feel like it would be impossible for me not to scream if I were being bumped or attacked. Screaming is much less important than thrashing. So if you had to do one of the two, I would say go ahead and scream. You want to just try and be as quiet and as calm as possible, but screaming is definitely much lower priority than the thrashing. So just don't focus on not thrashing in the water, and hopefully you can also try and stay as composed as possible, would be my answer to that. Okay, let's see. Question for the podcast. This is from Jonathan. If there were a bear biologist draft, think NBA draft, in what place do you think Wes would be drafted and why? For context, where would Tom Smith be drafted?
For context?
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I think
Wait, hold on.
So like say where you think Tom would be drafted in the bear biologist draft and where I would be drafted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think I would be like 200th pick overall when it comes to like bear biologists. There's a lot of bear biologists, but I think if we were to talk about like outreach, I'd be up pretty high. But Tom, I'd put Tom in my top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it were the NFL draft with that many rounds, you'll be taken eventually. But if it was the NBA draft, you might go undrafted and have to work your way onto a squad, which is fine.
Go to Europe.
Yeah, play in the Greek.
Japan needs some
whatever that
bear biologists, it sounds like.
They do. Yeah. Yeah, I think when it comes to research, I know there's a lot of bear biologists that are much smarter and more accomplished than I am. But I think I'm on the education front, I'm probably a top 10 pick. All right. Question for Jeff. Has there ever been any reports of people being killed by a house cat? This is from Che. Whether it be a passerby or their owner.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know?
Someone's tripped over a cat down the stairs, right?
I would guess indirectly someone has died. That one guy opening the PlayStation got close, where he like got super excited, and then his cat jumps on his neck.
Oh yeah. You think that he was close to dying from that?
I know he had got stitches on his neck.
Oh, wow, I didn't know it was that serious.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right. This one's from Rachel. Is there a universally adored animal that for you is just kind of meh? Mine is kangaroos.
Hot take. You guys, koala.
No, koalas were that way until we went to Australia, and then I really saw the vision with koalas.
I'm still pretty lukewarm on koalas.
I saw it. I saw the
TBH.
appeal. Mine might be those ones, and again, another Australian animal. Those forget what they're called, but they're the little smiling ones that everyone goes onto that one island to see. What are those animals called?
Oh,
Smiling
with a Q.
Australia. Yeah, quokka.
Qdoba.
Quokkas.
They just never really did it for me. It looks just kind of like a smiling squirrel. I don't know. Yeah. But there's just like constantly like articles about them and like celebrities posting with them and everything. So that's mine, quokkas.
I'm having a hard time with this one.
Lion is one for me. I still really like them and think they're really cool, but they're not really anywhere close to my favorite. Even in my top 3 big cats, they'd be a distant 4th or 5th.
I'm with you there.
Lions honestly might have become my favorite cat. I think they're so cool.
They are cool.
It used to be zebras until I saw them like in a mass herd, and I was like, that looks so cool. Maybe like
Their gum is great too.
maybe like like a Cape buffalo, African. What's the African buffalo?
Yeah, African
Cape buffalo.
Yeah.
Garrison's gonna be so mad again.
Just thinks they belong on every list of cool animals.
Big 5.
Yeah. I'm going to do one more Patreon question.
Great.
This one's from Ryan. Ryan says, question for everyone, but mostly Wes. During the month of October, would you rather give up all candy or all horror movies and TV shows? You giving up candy or horror movies?
Gave up candy this October and it sucks. But I have lost some weight.
Am I still allowed to eat like cookies and donuts and stuff?
I don't know how to define candy, but I don't think cookies count. That's just what my brain is telling me.
Then I'm giving up candy. I love watching horror movies in October, so I'd give up candy. I can go without candy. Going out without sugar would be hard for me. Are you going without sugar, Jeff?
Pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have like a little bit, but not much. I have my 2 Starbursts a day, you know?
We do know.
But yeah, I get more into horror movies after Halloween.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because you want
still
to
like a little
ride
too
that
warm
dragon a little longer?
outside.
Yeah.
I think it's like a little too happy and warm outside still. Like once like all the leaves are down and it's like cold, I get really into horror movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I got one more quick one actually from Yash. Yash says, Wes mentioned biologists being on oil company payroll. How can we tell if a biologist is or isn't? Are there ways for people to check to make sure that a biologist is trustworthy? I would just say like a quick litmus test is if you see a certain biologist in a field kind of saying the opposite of what every other expert in that field is saying, and it kind of feels like it's something detrimental that they're saying, then I would question them. Outside of that, I think you have to dig a little deeper and kind of look at like their credentials, how their papers, whatever else. But with polar bear biologists that are being paid by oil or whatever, it's generally pretty obvious because they're the only ones like saying polar bears are fine. We shouldn't worry about climate change.
There's a guy who's been bugging me on social media named Ivan Carter. He's got like 700,000 followers, but he keeps going to black bear dens in Utah like we used to do.
Yeah.
And acting like they're just asleep.
I think I saw one of his videos.
And they're just like, he's done it a couple times now, and it's just like taking off. And in the comments, he'll be like, oh, it's actually sedated. But like in his like video, he's like, look at this sleeping bear and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just
weird.
I mean,
who's he with that's sedating him?
I don't know. He doesn't show any notes.
All right, since we don't have any Instagram ones, we're doing one more Patreon one. This one's from Robin. Robin says, non-animal question. What are all of your favorite hot beverages? Mine is chai tea with milk and a little honey. Hot bevy?
Hot beverage.
Mine would just be like a mocha. I really like the taste of coffee, but I like to cut it with something. So, like,
I thought you were answering yours. You were saying what theirs.
No, I'm saying what. Yeah.
When
theirs was
you said
the chai
mine
tea
is-
was
Robin said mine is chai tea with milk and a little honey.
Gotcha.
Mine is like a nice mocha.
I like a nice hot mocha for sure. At Public.
Yeah, they have a good mocha.
I
Was it
really
Public?
love
I thought it was pubic.
I really love a pumpkin spice latte.
Never had one, but I do need to try it.
I've been really into apple cider this year. I love
good apple cider slaps.
Steaming. I need more than a mug. I need like a vat with a huge straw.
One of those.
One I have to like a huge hole like this big.
Yeah.
And I have
It
to like
couldn't
stretch
be
my lips to get around it.
Very hot then.
I've developed calluses in
If
my
it's
throat.
super hot, you don't want like a ton at once.
I've singed all of my taste buds off. It's not the taste I like, it's just the texture.
Okay. Quick conservation corner. Of all the big cats, again, this is the only one that's least concern. They're doing pretty well throughout their range. There are spots where they are under a lot of pressure.
Florida.
For example, Florida panthers are in a lot of trouble.
200 left?
I don't know the exact numbers, but they're not doing great out there.
I did see that number. I'm not sure.
Okay. The Eastern
How's
cougar,
the hockey team doing though?
They do
Great.
well, right? They're a good
2 in
team.
a
Florida
row.
Panthers, I thought were doing great.
Yeah,
but
they've won 2 in a
apparently
row,
not.
The animal's not doing great. The Eastern cougar was like extirpated, so there's not many really east of the Mississippi. But along their range, in general, they're least concerned. We don't really have a good number for them even because there are so many. But there's probably not quite as many as there are jaguars, but there are a lot of mountain lions. So
why is it the only cat that's least concerned?
because jaguar habitat is very fragmented and under a lot more threat than pumas. Pumas are very good at adapting to new habitat and living in a variety of habitats, whereas jaguars are a little bit more restricted for prey, for habitat, for everything. So I believe jaguars are vulnerable and mountain lions are least concern. So yeah. All right. Let's do a claw rating because we kind of haven't done this one for a minute and we talk about this animal a fair amount.
Pains me to do it, but I have to go 9 instead of 10. Just because they're not even a top 5 favorite cat for me.
Yeah.
Which is tough because they deserve
It's
it.
tough.
Yeah.
Same logic for me, but I'm going even lower with an 8. I don't know. I feel like we've been letting these animals get off a little easy on these claw ratings, you know?
Me especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wes.
It's 10 for me.
10.
Yeah. I love mountain lions. I think they're consistently dipping in and out of my number 1 spot for the big cats. I think they're insanely beautiful. Again, I think they're like the consummate cat. I think they're just like amazing at everything they do. They're so beautiful. They're so efficient and they live in so many different places. I just love them. So they're a 10. Platinum 10.
Are they
for
top
me.
10 animal for you?
Probably. Well,
Wow.
I don't know. That's really hard for me, but they are a 10 claw animal. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys. And thank you, listeners. If you are looking for more content, check out our Patreon. Jeff just did round 2 on beavers. Mike did one recently, too. That was great.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was incredible.
Me and Mike have been doing our horror movie show on there too. It's a fun time. You're going to get a lot of extra content. You're going to get to interact with the Tooth and Claw community at large. It's really fun. So check out Patreon. If you'd rather just have it right in your Apple feed, check out our Apple Grizz Club. They're both affordably priced, and we think you get a lot of bang for your buck.
For sure.
All right. Okay.
All right. Love you guys.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.